If you're a solo player hopping into an LFG group, or maybe you're in a fire team with your friends, Grandmaster Hallowed Lair might be the most challenging piece of content that you've played. In this Grandmaster Nightfall, there's unstoppable and overload champions, tons of void shields, a pretty good amount of solar shields, and one arc shield. In this video, I want to cover 3 weapon loadouts that will make this really easy for you, what subclass builds to run, and quick tips for the rooms that everyone fails in. If you like Destiny content that helps you enjoy the game more, just hit the like button on the video and you'll be recommended more content like this on the channel. The first loadout is the DPS Powerhouse of the team. The main responsibility for this player is to provide huge burst damage to champions so that they go down quickly before they wreck your team, for instantly breaking the boss's tether, and for that last little bit of DPS that you need on the boss to secure that successful clear. Here's the weapons you need: a kinetic sniper rifle for dealing big damage to enemies from safety. I personally recommend a legendary sniper like a Vorpal weapon Eye of Soul from Trials of Osiris, a firing line Shepherd's Watch from the World Loot Pool, or even a firing line Tranquility from the Moon. All of these are great options for champions so you can DPS them from safety, or the numerous snipers that can one-shot your team from miles away. In your energy slot, the workhorse for your entire team is going to be a Void Bow. The only legendary Void Bow is Imperial Needle from the Battlegrounds activity in the Season of the Chosen. This is going to take care of the dozens of void shields in this Nightfall, and safely stun the overload champions that you need to kill for platinum ranking. Imperial Needle is also just for clearing all of the enemies with your team. Without a good void weapon for the void shields, your team won't be able to make much progress because of match game, or your teammates are going to need to sacrifice their power ammo to break the shields. It is really important to have a primary weapon on your team that deals void damage. For your power weapon, you should use Sleeper Simulant or 1000 Voices for the huge burst damage that they deal. You'll get both Particle Disruption's debuff from the seasonal class item mod, and you can also stun unstoppable champions with these exotics. Sleeper Simulant and hopefully even 1000 Voices should be exotics that you have if you're pushing for Grandmaster at least, but if you don't, you can use Izanagi's Burden with Reed's Regret or Threaded Needle instead. This loadout right here covers just about everything you'll need for this Grandmaster. It covers the dozens of void shields, both overload and unstoppable champion stuns, debuffing champions or the boss, large damage for the boss and champions, and a solar weapon if for some reason you're last alive and need to kill a solar shielded enemy to clutch things up. The second loadout is more of a support role for the team. The main responsibility for this player is putting solar detonators on as many enemies as possible for faster ad clear, for managing the overload champions really well, knowing where those annoying mini screeps are that just disappear, and also being the main person breaking solar shields. In your kinetic slot, you'll want to use a kinetic sniper like in the first loadout. Again, a Vorpal weapon Eye of Soul from Trials of Osiris, a firing line Shepherd's Watch from the World Loot Pool, or a firing line Tranquility from the Moon are the best options to use. In your energy slot, the main component of this loadout is going to be Taiku's Divination. This thing is insane in this Grandmaster. Hip-fired shots mark nearby targets for you, which come in clutch for those mini screeps that are kind of glitchy and invisible all the time. Hip-fired shots also stick solar detonators to enemies that explode for large damage, which your teammates can also help you take advantage of. Alternating between hip-fired shots and aim-down sight shots on overload champions and stunned unstoppable champions are great ways of taking them both down so that you can save your power ammo for later. When you get to the final boss room, these solar explosions are amazing for the dozens of enemies that spawn at a time together. In your power slot, you want to use a Threaded Needle because it can stun unstoppable champions. It can break void shields also if needed, but most importantly, it does a lot of damage to the boss and champions while also debuffing them because of Particle Disruptor, the seasonal class item mod. This loadout right here is great at helping your team clear enemies quickly, making quick work of overload champions, and just taking care of all of the solar shields that your team will run into. The third loadout is the Debuffer, which is pretty good at ad clear, but it's even better at helping the ad clear person mow through enemies even faster. By the way, if this is helping you out so far, hit the like button to let me know to keep making helpful content like this. This Debuffer loadout is what you want to use to clear enemies quickly and apply constant debuffs to the targets for your team. In your kinetic slot, you're going to use a bow just in case you need to stun an overload champion, or there's enemies that are a little too far away for your energy weapon to hit. Constantly shooting fully charged bow shots into an overload champion with your teammates keeps it from getting its health back, and you can also just stun it again as soon as it can be stunned. For your energy slot, Vex Mythoclast is so damn good for this loadout, and the role this loadout is filling for your team. I know that not everyone has Vex, so you'll have to use one of the other 2 loadouts for your team, but having someone with Vex mythic class is insanely valuable. With Particle Disruptor, you're going to be debuffing enemies all of the time, and because Vex uses primary ammo, you'll never run out of ammo for debuffing. You can take out the solar shields and clean up enemies that have Taiku solar detonators for big ad clear explosions. The best part though is that Vex will stun unstoppable champions without the cost of power ammo. This is a great setup to stun an unstoppable champion, apply the debuff to it, and then have your teammates shoot 1000 voices or Threaded Needle to delete the champion. And just like loadout 2, you're also going to be using Threaded Needle in your power slot. You may notice that none of these loadouts cover arc shields. That's because there's literally only one arc shield in the entire Nightfall, and it's pretty easy to take down if you team shot together, even with match game active. So those are the loadouts that you should use. What about the subclass and exotics? If you're a Titan, Ursa Furiosa Coda the Commander Titan is fantastic at ad clear with void detonators, for feeding orbs to your teammates for their supers, and for big uptime on your own super. Make sure to tell your teammates to shoot through the banner shield so that it lasts longer and that they also get the Weapons of Light buff. Warlocks, you'll be using Stasis Turret Shadebinder with either Eye of Another World, Stag, or Aeon Gloves. Eye of Another World gives your team more frequent Stasis turrets. The Stag makes your healing rifts better, which is really nice against snipers and huge void grenades thrown at you. And the Aeon Gloves spawning heavy ammo for your team from finishers is a great option that also pairs really well with the support weapon loadout. For hunters, it's tough since there's nothing really quite as powerful as Ursa Titan or Stasis Turret Warlock, but Omnioculus with top or bottom Night Stalker can come in clutch with the Invis. Also, make sure to use Sniper and Void damage resistance on a Void chest piece, and Protective Light and Charge with Light Moss so you don't just get one shot by everything. So now that you have your character ready, for the most part, failures in this GM come from 3 rooms: the tank room, the twin platforms room, and the boss room. Here's how to make each of those rooms easy. What causes failures in the tank room is spawning too much too quickly and not clearing enemies fast enough. What you want to do once you clear the enemies in the room is not spawn the tank immediately, have one player hop on and off the platform in the middle. Doing this quickly with hardly any time on the platform will barely move the platform down, but you can stop it at about 90% completion. Once it's about 90% down, enemies spawn, but most importantly, the tank won't spawn yet. Regroup in the back right of the room where you have some cover and can break lines of sight on the unstoppable champions. Right now is when you should pop supers to clear the initial trash enemies that spawn before the unstoppable champions. The highest priorities here are ads that you can clear quickly, mini screeps that can sneak up on you, and then the champions for last because everyone can focus them together. Having stasis turrets that freeze and manage the ads are unbelievably valuable right here. Once everything is dead, hop on the platform again to spawn the tank and only the tank. Together, it's really easy to take down. One 1k shot will break the leg, and another when its neck is exposed will do most of the tank's health. The next room that can cause failure is the room with the twin platforms that you need to drop down to open the door. This one really isn't too bad if you have stasis turrets to freeze enemies that you can team shot trash together. The basic strat is to clear all of the enemies in the room before you work on one of the platforms, then hop onto one platform at a time and lower it until enemies start to spawn. When they start spawning, hop back off and then kill everything that spawns from the entrance to the room. Basically, just kill every enemy, lower the platform until more spawn, and then swap to the second platform once the first is done. Without a doubt though, the toughest part of this entire GM is the boss room. There's very little cover. The boss is always throwing arc storms at you that'll try to push you out of the very little cover that you can find, and enemies will charge at you from every direction. The strategy for this room is actually pretty simple though. The whole boss fight is like a little dance. You DPS the boss, then you rotate to the opposite side of the enemies that are spawning, you kill those enemies, and then you DPS the boss again. That's pretty much it. When enemies spawn on the right side of the room, you rotate to the left. When enemies spawn on the left side of the room, you just rotate to the right. When enemies spawn in the back of the room, you move to the entrance of the room and pop a roaming super and throw some stasis turrets. When the boss starts tethering you, start walking backwards before the tether hits you, and keep walking backwards until the tether breaks, which should be quick and easy for the 1000 voices. Once you get to that last little bit of the boss's health, the person with 1k should put everything that they have into killing the boss while the rest of the team clears the enemies, in case it takes that 1k a little bit longer than you think to finish the boss. The last thing that anybody wants is to overcommit to killing the boss and die to the ads before you can get the kill. If this video helped you out in any way, just hit the like button so it can help other players too. Subscribe to the channel if you want more content that helps players enjoy Destiny more, and follow me on Twitter if you want the same great content but in a fraction of the time. Thanks for watching.
This whole world twice, if I could be a paradise.